You dropped your old phone once from a second floor window, and it was fine. That right there is where this story starts, because that phone was hiding secrets nobody ever told you about. Everyone remembers the basics: the brick like build, the tiny screen, the ringtone you had memorized better than your own birthday. But the real story of those old feature phones goes so much deeper than they were tough. There are things happening inside those devices, and to your brain and to your wallet, that most people never knew about at the time and honestly still don't. I'm going to walk you through the wildest ones, and I'm saving the most unhinged fact for last. Because when you hear it, you are going to look at your current phone very differently. Let's go. First up, T9 texting. And before you think you already know this one, you don't, not fully. T9 was the predictive text system on old feature phones, built for 9-key keyboards, and it let you enter entire words by pressing each key just once instead of tapping through every letter manually. That sounds simple, and it was, until it wasn't. Because the sequence 4663 could spell hood, home, and gone, and when multiple words share the same numeric sequence like that, they're called textonyms. The phone had to pick one, and it picked based on what it thought was most common. So you'd type what you meant, and something completely different would appear on the screen. T9 was encoded to favor the most statistically common textonym, so good would win over gone or home, and hand would win over game. Which sounds fine in theory, but try telling that to a teenager in 2004 who just sent their mom a message saying "I'm gone" instead of "I'm home." That is not a minor autocorrect, that is a full family incident. And the cruel part is that you couldn't always tell it had happened because you'd hit send before the screen even caught up with you. You were essentially speed running a broken dictionary on a 12-button keypad, and the phone was constantly betting against you. Every single message was a small gamble. And it gets weirder, because while you were busy gambling with T9, your phone was also secretly teaching you military communication codes. And you had absolutely no idea. The SMS alert tone on Nokia phones, the one called Special, is actually the sound of someone spelling out SMS in Morse code. Those three letters in Morse are ... for S, -- for M, ... for S again. That little chime you heard 1,000 times a day, the one burned into your memory right now just from reading this, that was a telegraph signal. Every time you received a text message, the default tone was telling you in Morse code that you were receiving an SMS. And Nokia didn't stop there. The ascending ringtone, the one that starts quiet and builds up, spells out "connecting people," Nokia's own slogan, in Morse code. So the entire time you were walking around with that phone in your pocket, Nokia had essentially embedded their brand slogan into your nervous system using 19th century military telegraph communication. Millions of teenagers were unknowingly memorizing Morse code like they were training for a warship. Pavlov would be proud. So that's two things: T9 accidents and secret Morse code, and both of them are genuinely strange. But there's still one fact I haven't gotten to yet, and it's the one that will actually change how you think about your phone right now. We're getting there, stay with me. Because first, we need to talk about the internet button. That one little key that sat there, completely harmless looking, just waiting to ruin your entire month. WAP, Wireless Application Protocol, was the mobile internet of the late 90s and early 2000s, a stripped-down, text-only version of the web designed for tiny screens. And every phone had a dedicated button to launch it. One press. That's all it took. And here's the part that makes it genuinely terrifying. Accessing the internet from a mobile phone in those early days was not cheap, especially when the connection ran through per-minute billing. 3 minutes online cost roughly $1, and the connection speed was around 10 kbps. So this wasn't like accidentally opening an app. This was a ticking meter. The second that button fired, your carrier started charging you. Not for what you downloaded, not for how much data moved, but for every second you were connected to the server. And the pages barely even loaded, even a monochrome image took 5 to 8 seconds to download. So you were paying real money to watch a black and white picture of a weather forecast slowly materialize on a screen the size of a postage stamp. Now imagine that button getting pressed in your pocket while you slept. For 6 hours, you'd wake up, check your phone, and find a bill that looked like a car payment for loading nothing. Just the connection handshake, running all night, quietly billing you into a financial crisis. There were no unlimited data plans back then, so the fear of bankruptcy from loading a single image was completely real. People developed genuine reflexes around that button. You'd reach into your pocket and feel your heart drop for half a second just checking. Did I hit it? Is it on? Is it running right now? It was like carrying a small explosive in your jeans. And look, if any of this is bringing back memories, or if you've got a WAP horror story of your own, drop it in the comments. Seriously, I want to read those. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time because there is a video coming up next that goes even further into the weird history of early mobile tech that most people have completely forgotten about. But right now, we need to talk about the last thing, the one I've been building toward, because everything we've covered, the T9 accidents, the Morse code ringtones, the internet button panic, all of that is just context for understanding how strange and clever these old phones actually were. And the strangest thing of all is the one everyone thinks they already understand, the indestructibility. You've heard the jokes, you know the memes. Drop an old Nokia and it survives. Drop a modern phone and the screen shatters into 17 pieces. And the common explanation is that old phones were just built tougher, made from better plastic, designed to take a beating. That explanation is completely wrong. Old phones didn't survive drops because they were tough. They survived because they were specifically engineered to fall apart. When you dropped one of those phones, the back cover flew off, the battery skidded under the sofa, and the keypad occasionally launched across the room in a completely different direction. And that wasn't a failure, that was the design working exactly as intended. The physics here is actually brilliant. When a phone hits the ground, all that kinetic energy has to go somewhere. Modern smartphones are sealed, rigid, and sleek, so when they hit, all that force travels directly into the glass and the internal components. There's nowhere for it to escape, so the screen absorbs it and cracks. Old phones were the opposite. They were built to disassemble on impact. The force got distributed across the back cover, flying one way, the battery going another, the chassis bouncing a third. By the time the phone landed, the energy had already been spread across 4 different objects scattered across the floor. The phone itself barely felt a thing. So what you were doing every time you dropped your old phone was performing an emergency-controlled explosion. And then you'd crawl under the couch, collect the pieces, snap it back together like a Lego set, and it would work perfectly. Because it was never really one object to begin with. It was a system designed to break apart so the core could survive. That's the thing about those old phones. Everyone remembers them as dumb and simple, but they were quietly doing things that were genuinely clever, encoding Morse code into ringtones, engineering controlled disassembly into the chassis, charging you by the second for a connection you didn't even know was open. They were strange little machines full of decisions that most people never noticed. And your current phone, the one you're probably holding right now, it's faster, smarter, and infinitely more capable, but it would not survive a drop from a second floor window. And somewhere in that fact, there's a trade-off nobody really asked you about. If you want to keep going down this rabbit hole, the next video is right there, and it's worth watching. Here are the key facts cited from verified sources. T9 stood for text on 9 keys and let users enter words with a single key press per letter on 9-key keyboards. 4663 matches good, home, gone, hood, and similar combinations, all known as textonyms. The Nokia Special SMS alert tone is the Morse code spelling of SMS. The ascending ringtone spells out Nokia's slogan, connecting people in Morse code. Early WAP access used per-minute billing, with 3 minutes online costing roughly $1 at approximately 10 kbps.